Hey everyone, this is RJ, host of the POPsicle. Before you watch this first ever episode of this new show, I am here from the future to tell you that every fifth episode of the show will be a book review. So for the fifth episode that is coming out on March 4th, we will be reading Rachel Bloom's book, I Want to Be Where the Normal People Are. This one right here. So make sure you grab a copy. I'll post a link on the description of this video so you can buy a copy. And we'll see you in 4 episodes to talk about this book. All right, on to the show. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is RJ from RJ's Food Rocks, and this is the first ever episode of The POPsicle, which is a sweet new show where our guests and I lap up what's new in pop culture. And today, we have a very special guest for our first ever episode. She's an actor. She's a voiceover artist. She's an author of the book On the Isle of Sound and Wonder. She's a podcast pro under the One Shot Podcast Network. And most importantly, she's my very good friend. It's Aly Grauer.
Hey, RJ. Thanks for having me. You made me sound so important.
So today in the POPsicle, we will be unwrapping BLACKPINK the album.
In your area.
In my area. Is BLACKPINK in your area?
In your area? In my area?
BLACKPINK is the highest charting female Korean act on the Billboard 100. And the album is the first ever album by a Korean girl group to sell more than 1 million copies, which is crazy. Yeah. They are a girl group formed by YG Entertainment, and they consist of 4 members, Jennie, Lisa, Jisoo, and Rosé. So my K-pop personal history, I actually came into it more back in high school. I was actually more of a J-pop girl because I played Kingdom Hearts. Obviously, I was obsessed with Utada Hikaru, and that kind of just spiraled me. And then I became a theater nerd. So then the K-pop just disappeared.
You had to quit one of your weird nerd niches and exchange it for a new one.
So I swapped K-pop for Sondheim, and now we're here.
Somewhere, Steve is shaking his head fervently and doesn't know why.
He's like, what is a Jisoo?
What does that mean?
I didn't get back into K-pop, honestly, until BLACKPINK. And my first instance with BLACKPINK was there was this viral video going around of this little boy. And this little boy was so excited for BLACKPINK. He was like, yes, oh my God, BLACKPINK. And then started doing the choreography and was just like, look at Rosé. She looks so good. Da, 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 da. And this is a 6-year-old. And so that kind of became an iconic gay Twitter moment. And so I was like, okay, I need to find out who this BLACKPINK is. And that's how it started. Yeah. How did your BLACKPINK fandom start?
Awakening?
Yeah.
I feel that my descent into BLACKPINK and K-pop was inevitable because the first concert I ever went to live was NSYNC.
Oh.
And somebody's probably written a master's thesis on this, that there is something I don't know what the right word would be, infectious, sexy, whatever, about a group of people doing the same thing at the same time. And that specifically refers to choreography, in my opinion. It's why Riverdance was a big thing in the 90s. It's why people love line dances at weddings, right? There's something primal about a bunch of people doing the same thing at the same time, especially when it feels good with the music, right? I guess that's all dance, but not just dance. I feel like it's true of other things too. Marching band. I feel about K-pop the way lots of people feel about Critical Role, which is for the listeners who may not know, is a increasingly larger budget streaming production of professional voice actors who are friends and play D&D together on stream. Critical Role is wildly successful. So a lot of nerds or nerd-adjacent people feel about Critical Role that it's a big thing, and the people who really love it really love it. And the people who don't love it do not love it at all.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who haven't gotten into it are nervous to dip their toes in because there's so much backlog.
Yeah, totally.
So a lot of people just don't get involved because it's too big of an undertaking. And I feel that way about K-pop. there's so many groups and there's so much music and there's so
Yeah.
many different versions of the music video and the dance only and the lyrics only and the live performances and the concerts and the YouTube series and like, how do you and where do you and is it too late for me? And then Blackpink happened and I was like, no, I get it.
So on Netflix, they also dropped a documentary called Blackpink Light Up the Sky, where you got to learn about like each individual story of the girls and how they got into YG and how the whole group basically started. And me, that was really my first introduction to it. Like, I listened to a couple of songs and then I watched the documentary and I was like, wow, I am sold. These girls are like super interesting. And there's an interesting thing of like, they're just like normal girls, but when they're on stage, it's like pop, pop, do. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah. From a visual perspective too, it's so overwhelming if you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, totally.
Like, definitely all the music is very catchy and very like cutting edge and modern and you know, Blackpink has the addition of like they rap in the middle of it and they're like good at it.
Yeah.
But that I mean, watching through all their music videos puts me back to the dawn of Gaga.
Yes!
How she showed up and everyone was like, why is she wearing that?
Yeah, totally. Like, it's like the essence of pop, like truly in its like form of just like, we're just here to have fun in like a full colorful expression. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know.
Because it's everything, right?
Yes.
It's the whole package. It's the singing, the dancing, the theming, the costuming, the makeup, the wigs, you know, it's so many different crossovers.
Wigs. The wigs change from like scene to scene.
I know. Made me want to go buy like 6 right now. Like,
I know. It's like,
not?
first of all, like, it's like Lisa has long red hair in one scene and then has like short black hair in the other. I was like, oh my God, they are just throwing them around.
Well, and truly, like, from a Western uninitiated perspective, I was like, wait, how many of them are there?
Yeah, I know.
Oh man, it's just because they blend so well together as a group, the 4 of them.
I'm gonna say right off the bat, bops, pure pop bops, pure jams, and like
injected into my veins.
Truly, it's just like the music is so obviously it's like filtered down to be like, these are the elements that make this not only like super catchy, like super earwormy, but also like just like it's just like of the time. Like Lovesick Girls is my favorite song on the entire album.
Oh my God.
It's just so good. And like, it's funny because we've talked about it. Like, the music video is one identity and then the dancing is another identity and then the song itself is another. And I feel like watching all 3, like, let's just say Lovesick Girls, like the dancing is it's just like methodical and it's like everything is like boop, heart, like it's just so like precise. But like you watch the music video and it's so like just
they're
ethereal,
like like emotional, like
Oh,
that's interesting God. that you're pointing out like that there are separate identities for the different ways they can like spin it as a piece of media to be interacted with. One of the things that struck me in like actually sitting down like with headphones on and just listening to the album all the way through for the first time instead of just putting How You Like That on repeat for 3 days, that one of the things that really stuck out to me as somebody who really doesn't know a ton about K-pop in general still, is that some of the songs feel very much like separate songs squished together. Like some of the tracks have like the chorus has or the first verse has this vibe. The bridge has this vibe. The chorus is like 6 blocks down the road and to the left. Different song. And then they come back and the second verse has a different feel. And then there's like a second bridge. And the second bridge is like the first bridge, but like inverted. And then the final chorus is totally different from the first chorus. And then there's like a post-chorus that happens on some of the track. It's like structurally, it is wild. It's like a roller coaster that you can't see.
And it's 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute song.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like training you to be like, you never know what's coming next, which is good. Like, because I feel like there is a saturation a little bit of like music sometimes, especially like what you play in the radio. Honestly, Blackpink has done so much for the onomatopoeia.
The market.
Truly, it's like I've never heard so many like doot doot doots and bada beeps and splish splash. Like truly, like the onomatopoeia hive is eating good with Blackpink. It's so good.
You're right though.
Yeah.
Like, and it's amazing because like, so like you said, we're here to have fun.
Yeah.
Like, they're here to have fun.
Yeah.
They're here to make fun. But like their ability and like the audacity to use so much onomatopoeia so seriously. Like so
seriously, absolutely. Oh, it hits you, and it goes back to that primal thing of like, absolutely.
Doon do do do.
Do 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 do.
I get it.
I also love Ice Cream. That's one of my favorite songs too.
Listen, it's so damn catchy.
It is. That's the most earwormy.
I think. Okay, that's pretty. I mean, Ice Cream also feels more like it could have been. Maybe someone else's song, maybe a more Western artist. It fits in more with what you were saying about like the way Western songs are produced and structured. So I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then I heard it like a third time and I was like, this is upsettingly catchy. Like an ice cream truck could play it and it would not be out of place. Like it would make sense for this annoyingly catchy, but also
definitely
really dirty, like ice cream song.
It's so that song. It really is. It's an ice cream truck anthem. Like it can keep playing on repeat, and you wouldn't even know that it's like
you wouldn't know.
No,
they did that on purpose.
Yes.
They did that on purpose.
Selena Gomez has never looked better. It is truly the best she has ever looked.
There's like accessories and stuff that feel extremely 90s kid, which I'm very into.
Yeah, I love Jisoo's voice so much. It's so warm and like I want her to, this is so stupid. I want her to sing like Send in the Clowns. Like I want her to sing.
I was gonna say like, okay, so if we're picking karaoke tracks right now, I want her to sing I Won't Say I'm in Love from Hercules.
Very big Meg energy. Very Meg. Jenny was almost like the star, or like how they were leading, because she had like her own solo track too. But like the album is very Rosé featured, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, are they playing around with like, they think Rosé has more like international appeal than Jenny?
I don't know. Like if you look, I'm sure if you look at other K-pop groups, there are distinct decisions being made about that kind of thing. But like, referencing the only experience that I have with this is that, in the early days of NSYNC, it was very clear that like JC was going to be like the lead guy, and Justin was only featured on the tracks as big as he was because he was so young and because he was so good. I think they intended, because JC had more experience and he was a little bit older, that like JC was supposed to be the front man, right? And then Justin was supposed to be like his younger foil or whatever. And then as things went on, it became extremely clear that
Justin was it.
They couldn't not have JC sing a verse, but like it had to be about Justin.
Yes.
Like, otherwise we're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it was, right? And then, of course, it's extremely telling that one of them went on to have a fine and storied career.
Fruitful career. I definitely feel like there was a decision made that, like, Rosé is our Western, like, audience grab. Because she definitely has more of that vibe. She's like if you watch the documentary, she's the one that like writes music, she's the one playing guitar, like she's the Sarah Bareilles of Blackpink. Rosé starring in Waitress.
Because you said guitar and I went Michelle Branch.
Well, yeah, that's true. And let's just say it, Lisa's the coolest. It's not even a competition.
Lisa's the coolest.
It's not even a competition.
So cool. It's not fair.
It's not fair how cool she is.
I love Lisa. She's very cool. It's
uncomprehendable how cool
It's
Lisa
not.
is.
It's not. It's not fair.
It's not fair at all. No. Because she's like a fraction of our age. She's the coolest.
Every time she raps, I'm like, ugh. It's so effortless.
Yeah.
And it's so, because like at first I was like, oh, okay, there's a rap section. Because I mean, I'm white and I don't listen to a lot of interesting music, to be honest. But so I was like, oh, okay, they rap. And then I was like, oh, they're good at it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so good.
Dang. They are not kind of good at everything. Like, they're really good at everything.
Yeah.
And I watched their music videos and I watched like their dance videos and I'm thinking like, it's wild to me that they, you know, are as young as they are, and they are like, when they started even, that they had the capacity to not just sing like really well, but to have all of that stacked at once. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the costuming and the performance attitude and the choreography, which is not easy.
Not easy
and
at all.
That's like part of it.
Yeah.
It has to be difficult. Otherwise it's not interesting.
Yeah.
And that they're out there literally working their butts off, and they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
They make it look totally effortless, the choreography and the singing and the rapping, and just like the way that they're able, like they could be costumed in anything and make it look like expensive and high fashion, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's wild to me how capable they are in those multiple respects.
It's like, I mean, it truly is like a real, like there's that trope of like Korean and Japanese culture where it's like idol making, and this is truly it. Like we're watching
This is it.
This is it.
That's it.
So as much as we love how sweet popsicles are, when they start melting, they get a little sticky. So let's talk about the sticky. There's no buttons in the songs, right? Like they just end. And I don't know if that's like a specific K-pop thing.
Yeah.
And they're so short. And I don't know if that's just like so that you can just, they're made to stream. So it's like you can just keep streaming the album or the songs over and over again. Maybe that's
their heart rates are like 196 BPM while they're performing.
That's true.
That could
like
be part of it.
That's true. When they're actually dancing it, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. This can't be any
Dance,
longer.
sing, rap, do not lip sync. Especially when you're expecting a button as a Western listener.
Yes,
like,
exactly. I feel like Ice Cream is really the only main one that does a button because you hear Jisoo say ice cream at the end.
Yeah.
But everything else kind of just like either like has a trail off. Like even in How You Like That, it just doon 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 doon. That's it.
That's it.
It's so good. Maybe it's just my personal preference, but I prefer the poppier version. The poppy songs of the album than the harder songs. I feel like Pretty Savage is right in the middle. Not really a fan of Crazy Over You and Love to Hate Me. But that's just me.
I got nothing. I don't like this song.
After Lovesick Girls, it's like, okay, and the rest. Like,
and we need a couple more songs.
Yeah,
Can
it's
we just like wrap that up?
we just got to fill this up. What have we got? Great.
For Crazy Over You, I wrote it has a similar vibe to Pretty Savage.
Yeah.
Like the message feels similar,
Yeah.
and like the tune feels similar, but maybe a little more overt than Pretty Savage, which I don't necessarily think does it any favors.
Yeah.
I also wrote this reminds me of when Pussycat Dolls released Buttons, and it was the vibe for every fan-made music video ever on YouTube, as well as your weekly heels dance class or pole class.
Yes. Every
That's
fan
what that feels
video on YouTube had a Pussycat Doll song in it. Absolutely. I made one. I've made many.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, girl.
Crazy Over You has the same kind of attitude that like that's what they were reaching for, and I don't think they accomplish it, possibly only because
the other
Pretty
songs
Savage is a better
are
song.
so good. Exactly. Yeah. They're doing the prompt. It's a prompt song.
It's a prompt.
Right. The prompt was Pussycat Dolls.
Can you use it in a sentence? Yeah.
I feel like the onomatopoeia is least effective in Crazy Over You because it's just used to create the hook, but it's not like how it's used in other songs where it's like a bonus. Like,
right.
You know,
where it's like the sprinkles.
yes, like do like at the end of How You Like That, because you don't expect it, and you're just like, yeah, like by the time you're bought in and you're singing along,
it's just, it doesn't really work for me.
It sounds like a filler. It sounds like the B tracks of like a Britney or like a Katy or like a Gaga, you know. It's just like
the one that we literally like take off of the playlist because we don't want to hear it anymore. Gaga's Summer Boys.
No, I love Summer Boys. I know it's a bad song. I am fully aware that Summer Boy is not good. What do you think of the final song of the album, the quote-unquote ballad?
Okay, this is what I wrote. Are you ready? Also not my favorite track on the album. Feels like a breakup song. Feels like a this is the real me montage in a rom-com.
I think it would have been successful if it was just Jisoo singing it, because I want her to sing ballads.
Hey, that's fair. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
And that's also possible, that it may be that like the ones that don't really work for us are don't work for us because it's overproduced or they, you know, they went left instead of right or whatever. Like it could be any number of things.
One of the lyrics that I absolutely hate from Bet You Wanna, because they say, give me an all-night hug. What is that?
You know what it is.
You know what an all-night hug is.
I literally wrote, give me an all-night hug. What a cute idiom. What a cute way of saying that.
If my husband ever says, give me an
my husband
he ever tells me to give him an all-night hug, he's out.
I mean, but come on, like the only reason it's there as a lyric is because they're skirting the lines of what's considered proper for them to sing and rap about, right? Like that's also Cardi's on the track.
So it's okay.
That's about as far as they could go.
Yeah.
Okay? Like that's it.
Oh my God. Well, to wrap up our BLACKPINK the album, my little wrap up byline is that it is a good introduction of BLACKPINK, I feel like. Even though it did feel like a little bit of like a Western audience pandering, which is very fair, like because they blew up in Coachella and through Gaga, they wanted to do something that I felt like was palatable for our poor Western ears. Ears. And that definitely felt like that was the purpose and the intent, and they were successful. I do feel like their earlier music was so much more unhinged in its K-popiness.
Yeah. Unhinged is a great word. I did want to say that Pretty Savage has incredible power behind it as a song, I think. They lead us in with a discordant piano, which gives us like, oh no, are they bad guys now? Are they the bad guys now? And then they have like that purr sound that they all do, which is like, oh no, they're not necessarily the bad guys. They're gonna destroy you slowly and enjoy it. This song is like being in high school after your spring musical, jammed into an upperclassman's car, driving across town to get shitty diner food late at night while still wearing your sick show makeup and wearing your new outfit from the mall.
Yeah, full Ben Nye face. Like, just finished singing $3, 2 bags, 1 me. Headed to Denny's.
Going to the Denny's, like in the backseat of the van.
And just screaming Pretty Savage.
Pretty Savage. In the backseat, like, yeah. And then you pull into the Denny's and you park the van and you slide the door open and everybody comes out in slow motion and like pops their collars as they walk into the Denny's and like, that's it. That's the vibe.
The whistle at the end is so good of them all them whistling.
And yes, it is. Also, like, I felt like I should be angry revenge weightlifting to that song. You know what I mean? Like if we're talking about like if the aspects of this album are rom-com tropes, like that's the angry revenge, like get fit. Like
I propose a full K-pop rom-com where the music is all BLACKPINK. Honestly, they could do it too. They're all beautiful. Yeah,
absolutely.
So the recipe that I came up for BLACKPINK, because it's called the POPsicle, might as well make a BLACKPINK popsicle. So I made a raspberry popsicle. So it's raspberry and condensed milk and cream in a popsicle mold, and then when it's out, you would drizzle like melted dark chocolate on it, so it has like that hard shell on it. So good.
I love that.
Yeah, so
Yes.
excited. I'm going to share the recipe online. Thanks for joining us for this episode of The Popsicle. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and comment below of what you think about Blackpink the album. And if you're listening to us on the podcast, make sure you leave us a rating or review. Tell me what you think of the show and what you'd like to hear more in the future. Aly, thank you so much for joining me on this inaugural Popsicle episode.
Thank you for having me.
This is RJ, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.